Hello, dear colleagues and partners. I am Alina Maslova, and I will be moderating our talk today. Welcome to the second day of online conference networking High Sustainable World. Yesterday we knew that the supporting professional communities like fair trades and the developers of products from upcycle waste increases the sustainability market in general, helps to create something original, more beautiful, and also scale the business. Today, we will have a talk about online and offline sustainable communities and the new social behavior. Now, let's talk with Sarah Rhodes. How creating of local communities can improve understanding of plastic-free life cycle. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Alina. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. Communities is such an important topic and something that I think has become even more strongly recognized, I think, in the last couple of years, just how important this is. I do have some slides, so I'd love to share my screen.
Countries today are with us. It's very interesting. It's like Cambodia. So nice. It's the USA. Today is 9 p.m. here, and Phoebe, he's from Indonesia. That's nice. And Lida, where are you from? It's interesting. I'm curious.
I'm from Phnom Penh, Cambodia.
So, I don't hear you well. Sorry. Can you say it again?
Do you hear me? It's clearly now.
Yeah.
I'm from Cambodia, Phnom Penh. I actually in the same city with Sarah now.
Cool. Thank you, Sarah. We can see your presentation and we will hear it with pleasure. Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. Yes, it's great to see you as well, Lida. It was nice to see you in person the other day as well, where we hosted, and I will be talking about, the sustainability chats as part of this community presentation. However, to begin with, a little bit about Plastic Free Southeast Asia. So this is a business that I founded in 2015. At the time, I was living in Siem Reap, Cambodia. And plastic was starting to get on my radar, and some things that I'd done were like really making me think about, my consumption, how the world is using plastic, and how could I share that with others. And it turns out there was quite a big interest in it. So what started off as a community event centered around Plastic Free July, so the 1-month campaign that was started by Plastic Free July in Australia, not by me, as many people think that I did, and I'm like, oh, that's so nice, but by some other amazing people, turned into what became a lot of it, well, very much community founded, but working with businesses as well. And so the big part of what Plastic Free Southeast Asia do is we work with businesses to help their teams come along the sustainability journey. And in a sense, business teams are a community of their own. So we'll talk about that a little bit as we go through. So I am now spending my time in between Southeast Asia and Australia, my home country. Australia have a lot of work to do as well in the environmental space when it comes to single-use plastics, when it comes to sustainable tourism, and so many other elements of sustainability. So I feel very strongly to be able to continue the work that I began in Southeast Asia, but also make sure that my home country are accountable and working on that vision as well. Oopsies. And also just want to tie it into the Sustainable Development Goals. The UN SDGs are a bit of a roadmap that we can use with a goal of reaching these 17 incredible goals by 2030. And one of those is sustainable cities and sustainable communities. And I think that we really need this to be able to do that. And it's the sustainable cities and communities, yes, it encompasses geography. But as I just mentioned, it also can be across industries. So my background is in tourism. So the tourism industry is one of the communities that I aim to serve. And also when we're in business teams. So the businesses I work with, I aim to cultivate that community within their teams and also their locations. So yeah, communities everywhere. So what is it? So I want to share a few examples of how I've seen this play out effectively. Events for a common purpose. So something that we see around the world are these amazing teams of people getting out, getting together, maybe doing a cleanup event, or maybe doing a clothing swap, or all sorts of things that bring awareness to environmental sustainability. And when we unite together, in the case of this photograph, as a business team, but in many cases, just as like-minded people, then we find our common purpose and we find our sense of belonging and our sense of community in taking those actions. And then it inspires us to do more. I often host community workshops and attend community workshops because, again, it's a way to connect for a common interest, to meet new people, to work out problems, discuss problems, and come up with solutions together in the community. And in the case of this photograph, this was a community workshop on, I believe it was on like embracing imperfection, because something that comes up a lot of the time in this space is, oh, I need to be like 100% plastic free. Okay, 100% plastic free is really hard to achieve. And if we're only focused on that, then I think we get a little bit stuck. So how can we not be trapped by it needs to be everything or nothing? We see a lot of people who are like, oh, yeah, that's your thing, Sarah, you know, good for you, well done, thank you. But they don't want to start because they feel like maybe they're not good enough, but they are, because it doesn't have to be everything. Like, they don't have to quit their day job and go and start a business like I did. You can just do small things that are accessible to you. So I think, you know, talking about that as a community and introducing people to new ideas together is super powerful. And this has been, you know, one of my favorite things. It's certainly how we met Alina, is how we met Feby, is through sustainability chats. So around a year ago, I started hosting online and in-person sustainability meetups where we can get together and share ideas, talk about problems, connect with one another. And it's amazing. So this photograph is actually from Saturday, where I hosted an in-person sustainability chat in Phnom Penh. Twice a month, I hold them online. It's a beautiful blend of different people, and it's just so cool to see different connections spark. And I know, Alina, that, you know, you've brought a lot of value to the community in this sense. And, you know, you've met some great people, and some great people have met you and other people, that everyone that's working in this space. It's remarkable just to see how this can spread ideas and inspiration. And definitely, I think, you know, some of us who care so very passionately about this find that the sustainability chats provide some reassurance as well. Because sometimes when you're going on your own path and maybe it feels like your geographical community don't understand, you know, how do you find a community outside of that to help you realize, okay, yes, like actually what I believe and what I feel strongly about, other people do too, and I can find them and meet with them, and, you know, and keep going on sharing this vision and mission and change that we need to see in the world. And places. So some of the speakers from yesterday would be familiar with places. This is a photograph of my co-working community in Sydney, in Australia. So I'm not there at the moment, but they're in my heart all the time. And we continue to meet online as well. Your place might not be a co-working space. It might be your local cafe. The place where we held the sustainability chat on the weekend is a new eco-friendly hub for businesses that are creating eco-friendly products. So, you know, places where these ideas come together are super important. Where we connect, which cafe is the most eco-friendly cafe in the neighborhood? Like, can that be our hub where we meet other people who are like-minded? Or in this case, yeah, the co-working space, which honestly, they've become my work family, something that I miss as a solo entrepreneur, you know, really brought me in and made me feel like I belong to something, like a bigger thing than just myself, which is amazing. And volunteering. So volunteering is another way to connect and make an impact and feel like you've got a team. So this picture is not an event that I volunteered at, but the UN Association of Australia is a place where I volunteer and where I find other people who are working towards something bigger. I have also been very fortunate to have many volunteers join Plastic Free Southeast Asia over the years in different capacities, helping different things. And, you know, they're still part of the Plastic Free Southeast Asia family. So that's quite beautiful as well. So accepting volunteers or volunteering your own time is another way to find your people, find your community. Okay, so Alina, you asked me some questions and I have done my best to incorporate some answers I hope everyone will find helpful. So why is community an effective strategy? So I hope I can share the sound on this. My client and friend, Tony, who's the general manager of Treeline Urban Resort in Siem Reap, sums it up like just so beautifully. I thought I'm just going to borrow her words and share that with you. So fingers crossed that we can share the sound on that. That's always the interesting element of this. So fingers crossed. Hang on, just need the little pop-up to disappear so that I can
I think yeah,
get the play button.
Yeah, it will work. Yeah. So we can see.
Here. You can see, but you can't hear, right?
Yeah, I can't hear.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can share computer sound. Okay. No, we should be okay.
Feel heard and valued and part of something, that their opinion matters, they buy into it. Not just, there's 2 points to education, not just educating others, but educating ourselves. And again, that comes with talking to the community and your teams and finding out, why do people litter? We can't just tell them, don't litter or don't use plastic. You know, why are they so dependent on plastic? We have to come up with solutions, not just tell them, don't do it. We have to talk and come up with solutions. So yeah, challenges for us with implementing all of this. Our biggest challenge was with suppliers, because once we could control what's in our walls, but it was difficult when we're getting produce and things delivered and it's wrapped in plastic, and so that was really challenging, because we weren't just becoming plastic-free front of house for the guests. We were going the full hog, like back of house operations, which in a big hotel with kitchen departments or 10 different departments, there's a lot. It's a really big big project, and that's where Sarah was able to help us hugely. And so one of the surprises for me in doing all of this is just how, I don't want to say easy because it wasn't easy, it was a long process, but I was thinking that the biggest challenge was going to be changing the mindset of the team, but it wasn't. Sarah came in and did training with us, the first training that she did with us. And how much they bought into it after that, I wasn't in the first session, and I caught up with them and Sarah afterwards, and it was just phenomenal how much they bought in and how much they took it all on board. But in the back of my mind, I was a bit pessimistic, and I was thinking they're just saying this to pacify me and because it's what I want to hear. But they weren't. And then Sarah said to me after those first trainings, she said, oh, I'll be back in, I think it was 8 weeks, to do a follow-up audit. And all of a sudden I was like, oh God, this is a lot bigger than what, what I had anticipated. And how am I going to make this happen in 8 weeks? You know, like being the perfectionist I am, I was like, we have to get rid of everything. Everything has to be perfect when she comes back to do this audit in 8 weeks. And yeah, I was just like, we're going to fail. This is not going to be good. But within the first week or two after that first training, my team took the ball and ran with it and didn't stop. So it didn't stop at eliminating plastic. It became, we were composting. We were, you know, we weren't able to find a lot of the things that we needed, whether it be bin liners or, you know, when we were trying to get our bamboo amenities, you know, we were finding them, but they'd still all arrive in plastic. And we couldn't find certain baskets and things. So we started making them ourselves. We made all our takeaway food containers, all our carry baskets for guests, all our linen bags, all of it. So yeah, they just did such a phenomenal job. And again, this goes back to getting them to buy into it and empowering them. And yeah, they just took it and ran with it. And I was so incredibly proud and really excited to have Sarah come back and do the audit and show off what the team have been able to do.
Okay, so that's one example of it, a team community. And one of my favorite stories after this is Joni sent me photographs, one of the big holidays in Cambodia that the team had organized together, a picnic. And they had, you know, made sure that the picnic was entirely plastic free. So they'd taken baskets, you know, food that was wrapped in leaves and, you know, things that they brought in Tupperware from their own homes. And that's not something that's very common to see in Cambodia. It's very easy and accessible just to buy food from, you know, vendors, and they will wrap it in plastic. So they thought about it, and then they took it, you know, out into their social world as well as just in the business world. So you know, bringing people together, giving them a voice, and letting them know you're part of this, like you're part of this community, is just, yeah, is so powerful. Okay, and you also asked me, Alina, what is difficult? And this is really a follow-up from that last point, but what is difficult is like getting everybody going in the same direction. So I'm using this photograph here of some people rowing a boat. Like, if you can imagine that, you know, half of those people were rowing in the other direction, or maybe someone's not holding their paddle and they're just kind of hanging out there, it's going to be a lot harder. So what I find difficult is the urgency, or is sometimes people thinking they have to take the whole world on their own shoulders by themselves, and they try to do it by themselves alone. I have to do this, and that's a great starting point. But you need a team. You need some people in your boat so that you can paddle together and all head towards the same goal. And that, I think, is what community is about. Is you know, really, like, yeah, getting people in your boat going in the same direction. And it's not always easy. And you know, what is difficult, I find, in this space is urgency. We have a huge amount of urgency, but urgency can be scary, and it can make people feel like it's too big for them to do. So then they prefer to do nothing. They prefer to stick with what they know. Or, you know, one person in a business community might be thinking, well, I've got to do this. I'm the sustainability officer. I have to do this by myself. And that's hard, because then it's like you're trying to paddle the boat on your own, instead of getting your teammates to jump in and help with the paddling. And I think this comes down to communication. Again, giving everybody a voice gets the buy-in, and then communicating clearly what the direction is, means then, okay, all right, we all know what we're doing now. We all know why we want to sail in this direction. You know, and now let's put our energy in it and get the paddles out and like, yeah, work together as a team, as a community. So yes, that's certainly what I find difficult. And then what is success? Again, it's probably all very tied in together, but it is sitting down and working out the problems together, and bringing ideas and trying things. And sometimes the first thing you try is not going to work, but it is really about going in and doing it anyway, and doing it together. Yeah. And then that, to me, is absolutely what success is, like bringing people together, having discussions, examining difficulties. Don't just going, oh, you know, working with suppliers is hard, or, oh, my local coffee shop, they always give me the plastic cup. But actually, you know, having those conversations, you may be chatting to your local coffee shop and saying, hey, you know, I come here every day or twice a week or whatever. Can you help me? I'm really trying to do better at this and I need your help. And bring them in, they're helping you, rather than trying to say, oh, why did you give me a straw again? You know, those kind of conversations. So I hope this is helpful. I hope that there's been, you know, some little pieces in there that will help you find your community, and something to be part of, you know, whether that's through volunteering, whether it's through joining different events in your area, whether it's through hosting different events in your own area, because that can be really amazing as well, and bring people in to you to be the point of contact. Get my button to work. Sorry, sometimes it's disappearing. Yeah, I would just like to open up if there's any questions right now, and I hope that I'm sticking to the schedule as well.
Thank you, Sarah. It was amazing. I had a question, but you were preventive and you already answered. Yeah. And maybe somebody in the auditory have any questions. We will hear it with pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Phoebe. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question, Sarah. How are you today?
Oh, thank you. I'm well. I'm well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a nice community around me, and that feels great.
I want to say
supportive.
Yeah, because as you say before, it's really important to join the group and talk, because as I told you before, I'm really depressed and I don't even want to talk with people. I don't want to even see people. But you encourage me to talk with you, and that's really make me believe that I can do this. You know, like yes. And then I don't even think that my life is what was going on in my life, but I have to do this because you are so encourage me to start to talking, it's okay being wrong, it's okay being screwed up your life, you know, like that. And then I think as
we've been there before, I've been there.
The community is really important, and that's it for me and everybody. That's it for me, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you, Phoebe. It's so great to see you here and see you smiling. How are you?
I'm good. I'm great, actually.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So good.
And how about all you guys, Kat and Linda? How are you today?
Yes, thank you.
Good?
Thank you. I'm amazing. Moreover, I prepare a very nice cartoon we can watch after our next talk, because its cartoon is very close to what Sarah said. Because when I saw it, I thought about Sarah, about you, what you do, and I would like to, yes, I would like to show you guys. It's amazing. But before we start with the cartoon, we have an amazing talk, an international conversation right now with Philippines. And
Right.
Okay.
yes, that's great. And let me read some short
Before you
preview. Yeah, sure,
before
sure.
you do, can I just share? I have like sort of some parting words.
Oh, yeah.
um,
Sorry.
for
Yeah,
after
go
the
ahead.
question.
Sure,
Sorry.
sure, sure.
So firstly, if you want to find out about this, the online sustainability chat, then you can let me know, and I will be able to share emails and invite you to different things that are going on, and my contact details if you want to take a screen capture or a photo. And finally, button to work. I just want to say, we are stronger together. So, find your community, find your people, and good luck. And if there's anything I can do to help, of course, please, I'm happy to.
Thank you. Yes, strictly recommend. I strictly recommend. Because the sustainability chats are very interesting, and strictly recommend, guys. So let's go ahead and let's listen to, let's figure out what Katrin Russ is preparing for us. One of the important resources for making non-profit and profit communities is people awareness about sustainability. Let's talk with Katrina. How copywriting helps to promote sustainability. Hi, Katrina.
Hey, you hear me all right?
Yes, we hear you well.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Right. So before we jump in, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Katrina and I am streaming from the Philippines. I am a direct response copywriter, an email marketer, and a branding strategist. And I work with ethical and socially conscious, purpose driven brands to amplify their impact and spread good around the world. Um, Before we jump into the core of this conversation, which is how we can use copywriting to promote sustainability, I would like first to introduce what copywriting is. So, copywriting is the written language of sales in print and digital. And at surface level, when we hear copywriting, we think about marketing and promotional materials. You could think about like a pamphlet that you get in the mail or an email from a brand that lets you know about a massive site-wide discount that you have to like get in on right now, right? And it is what businesses, government institutions, thought leaders, schools, and other organizations use to sell a product, a service, and sometimes even events. Now, in the field of digital marketing, where I work in, it is a critical role in turning potential customers into um, loyal buyers. Copywriting is what we use to filter leads and to get them to purchase the first product and then come back for more again and again and again. And of course, there's a lot of things involved in making that happen. For example, you're going to need a solid marketing framework to make it successful. But what copywriting really does is that it moves people to go from one step into the next. And that doesn't only happen because you have great products or services. Having good products and services will really only get you so far before before it sort of like crumbles down, because before you know it, there's always going to be another brand that is better, bigger, and has a more attractive offer than what you're currently telling your market. So for you to be able to build customer loyalty, you also have to sell your beliefs and ideas together with your services until you find alignment with your target audience. And when you have this sort of like emotional alignment with them, that's when you get them to keep choosing you over thousands of options that they have in the market. And what that tells us is that copywriting done right will guide your ideal target audience towards your desired action or decision. And when we sort of like multiply that process, when we think of that process at a bigger scale, what copywriting really does is that it moves the masses towards a desired behavioral change. And when we use it for good, when we use copywriting to effectively shift customer behavior to rally behind brands, businesses, and organizations that champion sustainability, it becomes a tool for social change. And and you know, this wonderful things happen when you're able to move the masses through persuading them to shift towards this mindset of sustainability. What you do is that you create a revolution, and this wide scale movements, I mean this wide scale movement paves the path towards our evolution as a society to an era where sustainability is not an option, but it is the standard of living, you know? And at the end, that is how copywriting promotes sustainability. um, we'll talk about, yeah, later on, I'm going to talk about tangible ways of how we can leverage copywriting to promote sustainable businesses. But yeah, before that, I would like to go over some common hurdles that I've experienced while helping socially conscious and purpose driven businesses with their copywriting and marketing. And yeah, and basically like influencing their target audience into turning into like what do you call this, into like supporting sustainable businesses. So the first one is translating the technical. Now, sustainability is a very scientific and technical world. You know, for us to be able to influence decisions, we have to make technical, I mean, the technical and scientific understandable and relatable to our target audience. We have to be able to turn research into digestible information that they will get instantly when they read it. Because a confused mind, no matter how good your product is, no matter how much effort you did into you put into creating something that will make the world a better place, if they're confused, they won't really buy into whatever you're selling. And that's sort of like that's something that, you know, it sucks, but it's something that we really have to work on. um the second one is greenwashing. Now, greenwashing is one of the biggest hurdles that I encounter, not with the businesses and brands that I work with, but from the competitors, the competitive landscape in general. So there's lack of regulations around what a sustainable product really is. And because the market is starting to be aware of why they need to choose sustainable products, there are brands that slap on words like eco-friendly, green, toxic-free, and other, green-related words that don't really mean anything. So just for them to, hop on the bandwagon and stuff like that. And this is and what they do is that they justify it with statements like, hey, we use this ingredients, it's ethically sourced, and yeah, it's ethically sourced, we get it from farmers from these villages and stuff like that, but they don't mention the other 101 ingredients that they use in their products that aren't sustainable sourced, that uh, you know they don't talk about their manufacturing. They don't really get into the details. And this is a manipulative tactic that really hurts our journey towards creating a sustainable world. And then another one is that, wait, did I go back? All right, there we go. Um, a lot of sustainable businesses don't have, very good know, like, and trust factors yet. Um, what the good thing about the shift that is happening with consumer behavior right now is that more and more consumers are being problem aware. They know that there is an existing problem. However, um, uh, yeah. However, they don't know what solutions are going to answer that need that they have right now. Studies find that 1 in 4 consumers are looking for sustainable options, and that people are looking for options online. Like there's 71% rise in online searches for sustainable goods globally just in the last 5 years. And that's a win for champions of sustainability. But this becomes tricky because the people who say they want to purchase from purpose driven brands don't really push through with the purchase. Only 26% do so. And the reason why is because there is an increasing doubt whether or not it works or it's as good as the conventional counterparts that they're used to using. So there really is a disconnect between the effectivity of the product and the need that it is answering, and how is it being communicated with the people who need it, right? And the last one is pricing. Okay, so most sustainable products come with a premium cost for several reasons. The first one is lack of demand. So this is, basic supply and demand theory. Businesses have to increase their prices to break even, to profit, or just to stay afloat, just for them to keep doing what they need to do. And because there is low demand because of a couple of things that we discussed earlier, they have to put that premium price tag on some of their products, like just for them to, stay in business. The other one is that ethical labor and sustainable manufacturing doesn't come cheap. And all of this aggregate together that makes sustainable product look expensive when compared side by side with conventional counterparts, because that's what you usually do, that's what consumers usually do, they compare the prices. And that's where, copywriting comes in. So you have to be able to position and differentiate your product in a way that even though it looks premium, you are able to communicate not only the quality that comes with it, but also its overall impact to your environment and to the other causes and movements that we are rallying for in the sustainable world. All right. So the question now is, how are we going to help people move past these hurdles? And my only answer to that is that we have to be masters of persuasion without being sleazy and unethical. We have sleazy marketing like greenwashing, which we talked about earlier. We have false urgencies like buy now or we won't ever promote it anymore. But next week, you're doing another promotion about it. So that's like, those are sleazy marketing tactics that we see a lot, and it destroys trust. And it doesn't look good for a business that champions sustainability. Sleazy and unethical marketing doesn't just fit into your brand world. So the question now is, how can we be persuasive while um while s- being on brand with everything that we have built, and everything that we're building for? How are we going to do that without being, um, yeah, without being sleazy and unethical? And the only question, the only answer that I thought of is to connect with your audience. Um, Connecting with your audience is copywriting is a human to human conversation. Like, even though you're speaking for a brand, you're always coming across as human. And um because copywriting is salesmanship. Because when you think about going to the store and buying from, the owner personally, and the owner would like really promote their products, and they will talk about, for example, it's a recipe from created by your grandmother and your grandmother's grandmother, and that is the story that the owner will tell you just to convince you to buy that product. And those kinds of things create genuine connections. And we can do that first by listening and speaking to their problems, their needs, and desires. It's not enough that you tell them that you are a sustainable business. That's why they should choose you. Hey, I'm sustainable. Hey, I'm green. That's why you should choose me. I'm creating a better world. That's why you should choose me. No, that doesn't work. We have to think about what's in it for them. How can you be the brand that will help them get to where they want to be? And then when you catch their attention, you have the opportunity now to pull them further into the sales process through selling your belief, through selling your ideas, and through introducing them to what you are creating as a sustainable brand. And the second one is to be clear and understandable. I talked about it earlier, how a confused mind will never buy. And right now, there is a debate whether copy should be long or short. I like to practice brevity. So I usually write shorter copy, but that doesn't mean that I write short copy all the time. Sometimes we need longer copy for people who need more persuading. The important thing is that it is always clear and understandable. Like what I said earlier, we have to translate the technical into something that they can digest and understand immediately. We only have like a very short time period to really get people to um listen to what we are saying. And we can't do that with all the mumbo jumbo and all the techno babble. We have to like speak like a human. We have to be understandable. We have to be relatable. And the third one, of course, is using stories to um, engage your readers' emotions and allow them to relate their everyday lives with the solutions that you are presenting them. When you read something, you sort of like, how does this relate to me? How will my life be better? And that doesn't only happen to you, right? Um, your that's your audience, your target audience will also be thinking that way, and you have to be able to leverage that kind of um, emotional connection that stories can create in your copy for you to be as persuasive as you can be without like being sleazy or creating things up and stuff like that, just for you to be able to get a sale or for you to be able to build loyal customers. And yeah, and finally, we should be able to um, meet your audience where they are. Now, there are 5 stages to customer awareness. The first one is they are completely unaware. So they have no idea that they have a problem. So that means they're not looking for a solution. The second one is that they know that the problem exists, but they don't know what the solutions are. So right now, what I'm seeing is that most of like there is a growing audience about problem aware when it comes to sustainability, like the what you call that the stats, the numbers that I mentioned earlier. Like people are searching online for sustainable options. However, they don't really push through. And why is that? So we have the other one, which is solution aware. So they know what the results they want, but they don't really know what products are going to um what products will lead them to that result. And then we also have a product aware. So product aware is an audience that they are already aware of what you do, or what you sell. However, they're not really completely bought into it. And there are a lot of ways that you can do for you to be able to move that. That's sort of like easy already. That's easy compared to dealing with uh a customer base that is completely unaware and just problem aware. And finally, we have the most aware audience. So these people are convinced that your product, they're already good, they will solve their problems. However, they just need a slight push for them to be able to for them to purchase from you, for them to make the decision to purchase from you. Now, what we don't want to do here is we don't want to approach our customers as if they are already most aware, when in fact they're still completely unaware. You don't When they're on top of your funnel, like they don't know you yet, they're cold audience. You don't tell them, hey, I have a 50% discount, come buy my product, it's sustainable. That doesn't work. You're just wasting your money on ads. You have to be able to nurture them. You have to talk to them the way they need to be talked to. Like, okay, the person is unaware that we have a problem, so what do? We give them stats. We show them what the problem really is, and then we put them in the middle of that problem, so that they know that it is their problem. It's not outside looking in. It's that they belong in that whole situation, and that they are in the center of it, and they have to do something about it. And when they become when they become problem aware, they start looking for solutions. And that's the time that you bring in your unique selling point. This is why you should this is what we offer. This is why you should buy us, something like that. And then they're solution aware, so because they are searching for a lot of products already, they're getting confused. you know they go through the usual problem of like analysis paralysis. What's the best for me? Is it going to be product A, B, or C? Well, that's the time that you really hone in to your product positioning. Why are you the best choice between product A, B, and C? And then the last one is the fourth one is that they already are aware of what you sell, and that they don't know if it's right for them. So again, after you say your unique selling point, the third one is you you tell them about your beliefs, right? And that's when you find the emotional alignment that we're talking about. Like, okay, until we come to a point where they say, okay, I'm ready, I know what you're offering me. I know that this is the solution to my problem, and I am finally ready to take action. So that's where we give them your offers, your promos, and stuff like that, until they become your loyal customers. So that is the end of my presentation. Do you have any questions, or you know
Katrina, thank you very much. It was very interesting. In particular, thank you for highlight a lot of problems, because we can very often we can talk about what goes right, and because we like our results, but you underline a lot of really real problems I have as I is ecopreneur, and maybe yes, maybe another ones I guess too, because yeah, the idea to explain your idea not in technical language in particular is very important. It's a crucial. And if someone has any questions, any question, please, you're welcome. And I also know that Sarah, what about your time? Seems like if you have a lack of right now, I will just send you a cartoon, because I very appreciate of having you here. And I know 10 minutes. Okay, yeah, thank you. Questions, please. Sorry.
Here, unmute. I had a question for Catherine.
Mhm.
So how you build up your story, or because I have a product, like
Mhm.
uh, watch front coffee, and how do you build your story about your brand and become accepted customer?
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Uh-huh. Okay. So when it comes to like sharing your story, like a lot of entrepreneurs go through the same problem. Like, how am I going to write about myself in a way that my ideal customer will relate to me? And there are a lot of approaches that you can do. First, you can start with your own personal story. That really is something that will pull them into your story. So you could start with something historical at first, like, this is how I created my brand. This is my brand philosophy. This is what I stand for, and then stuff. And make sure that while you're saying that, you're also like, um, dripping information on how it relates back to them. So, for example, one of your brand philosophy is that, um, you're honest, right? So me as an honest brand, how does that help you? So because for example, because I because for every step of my selling process, I'm being honest with you. That means that you will see my production costs, my labor costs, and stuff like that. I forgot the brand that does that. It's slipping my brain, but there is a brand that does that. They tell you how much the labor production costs, and then they would tell you about the shipping. This is what you're paying, this is what we're earning from it, and this is what we contribute to the world, something like that. So that's one way for you to be able to you know to share your story. Another is that you make it all about your customer, right? Why did you build the brand for your customer? And that's something that they can easily relate with, because you're telling it in their perspective, right? So you
Yeah.
can start with that. So those are two things that you can play with at the beginning. And then as you do more work into writing your brand story, you'll be able to figure out what your brand voice is. And when you have that brand voice, that sort of like guides you into how you're able to like really write your brand story in a way that you resonate with as a business owner, that highlights your product as a sustainable product, and also um, and that is also relatable for your audience.
Okay, so yes, thank you for your answer. And here's the thing. Uh, uh, what the first thing that I should choose is personal branding that I share with my customer, or the the product brand itself.
Mhm,
What do you think about that? What the most important thing
mhm,
that I should share? It's my
mhm.
personal, because somebody or someone doesn't believe in me, but the product itself, and that's it. That's it. Do you understand
Okay.
what I say?
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
I understand. All right. So you're sort of like torn between personal branding and branding for your product itself. So what I see, um what business owners usually do is that at the beginning, so they talk all about their brand, how they build their brand, what their product is about, and how it is for their target audience. And towards the end, they have this short blurb about themselves, because it's also because you are your brand, right? You are part of your brand. You can't be separate from your brand as a business owner. So there's a short blurb about you, about why you built that brand, however, if your brand really is something that stemmed out of your identity, right? For example, it has a cultural connection with you. That's something that you can put at the beginning of your story. You know, if you know that your audience will appeal more with the story that you are, um, writing. I mean, yeah. I mean, if your audience will will, if your story will appeal more to your audience, that's something they can like write it first. That's something that you can open up with. That's a lead that will draw them into what you are eventually writing. So for example, for your is it a watch brand you said?
Yeah, the watch brand from coffee grounds and milk protein.
Oh, okay. Wow,
Yeah,
interesting. Wow. Okay.
It will be the next
Um
stock. Sorry for
yeah,
interrupting. It will
yeah.
be the
Because
next stop, guys. Yeah.
okay, thank you so much for.
yeah, that's interesting, and I really look forward to hearing more about your watch brand. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, look for something that is interesting, right?
Yes,
And
but
that's something that
okay.
you can that's something that you can open up with. So um
Yes,
you
I'm
create
really want to open
curiosity.
up.
You create curiosity, and then you add your personality, and a brand story is something that evolves. So for example, you have your first draft, okay, put it out there. The about us page is something that a lot of customers really visit. If you turn on your analytics and stuff like that, you will see, for most of the
Yes.
brands that I work with, the about page is something that really people really visit. And when if you see them clicking here and there, you'd be able to have like a more informed decision on how you're going to write your brand
Okay.
story. But at first, you can start with their story, you can start with interest, you can intrigue them, and you pull them down until they're able to finish the page and read your story and buy into whatever you're selling.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your awesome answer. And that's it for me. Anybody else?
Alrighty.
Thank you very much, Katrina. It was very informative and useful explanation of what should we do, what could we do, and yes, it touched a lot of difficulties and problems of the market. It's very important. Thank you very much. Yes, everybody else, please. And I offer to watch the cartoon just a little bit later. It's the very end, like a good dot in the end, because right now we're just a little bit out of time, but we are very happy to listen to interesting, as we mentioned just a little bit before, today, Fabi Furman's talk about how the watch made from coffee ground may become a symbol of a stylish man.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see. Perfect.
Yes. Yes. Just wanna share my idea about my product, and yeah, I live in Bandung, Indonesia, and I'm Fabi Firman from as a founder, as a made. And then who is Famio? Famio is the world's first watch made from coffee grounds and milk protein. This is engaged in the sustainable fashion industry in Indonesia. Our product is biodegradable and eco-friendly. We want to become a new identity and symbol for people who like fashion and coffee, and also for people who cares with sustainable life in our world. And yeah, our mission, next slide, is our vision is to create a variety in innovative, eco-friendly fashion products. And our mission is to remind, to protect the Earth's heritage and accompany everyone's journey to find their life purpose. And here's our team, me as a founder and CEO, and Rizky as your operational, Andre as CFO, and Nanan Sulaiman as marketing. And yeah, this is the problem we want to solve, and the idea of inspiration, starting from the simple idea of how to use coffee ground waste into an environmental friendly and more valuable product. We conduct research by research. I don't know the exact years, but I think it's probably been three years from the start, and finally succeed to make a watch from coffee grounds with fully organic. One of the main ingredient is the adhesive. We use milk protein to be used as adhesive, not using epoxy resin or another chemical adhesive. So it is bad for skin and also biodegradable and compostable. And when the watch is broken or just the part of making is wanna throw it to the environment is also safe because it's made from coffee and milk protein. And yeah, the next potential market, I think Catherine is really good at it, but I can see that seeing the current business opportunity from the coffee industry, there are still very few product variety that use coffee grown ways to be made into fashion product, because in fashion and industry coffee, I think there is not a lot of product that made from coffee. And that was really my idea. And so we sure that the growth of coffee's consumption in Indonesia years by years is also increased, followed by coffee lovers who will always exist, because I think the nature of coffee itself is addictive. You know, like if you always coffee at the morning, and then years after year you always drinking coffee, and then you start not drinking coffee, it's become your body is really need coffee, and then that's the additive in coffee, I think. And also the material we've made from mixture of coffee and milk protein can be developed further into another product, such as sunglasses, phone case, and so on, because it's like plastic conventional, you know, like a PLA or anything else. But this is biodegradable and sustainable. And this is a product prototype that I share. A new product in competitor. With values of our watch, we offer for customer. The customer will be curious about the products. But because this is the new product from coffee, we should really hard to educate to customer for understand about the values of product. And we hope that would not only become a new identity in fashion industry and coffee industry, but also participate in the customer always participate to love environment with wisely. And one of the biggest competitor for us in Indonesia is the brand who make a wooden watch that is unique. But I think we think our product is fresh for the market, you know, because the wooden watch is already exists many years ago, but this is the new product. I think it's really fresh for the market. And that, yeah, this is the final product to sell to the customer, because before this it just prototyping, you know, like I just made a prototype. It's not already sell for the customer, but the design is for the sale. It is the design is this product is DNA for reference for pioneer by bringing element of bringing out urban nature to highlight the side of courage and interesting a few bright or flashy color and chain embody the watch from coffee ground. And so this is the more authentic, I think, because all of the body in the watch, when you like this, and the body and the watch, the strap, it's also the coffee grounds. And because before, I think is when I made it, this prototype, I use leather conventional, you know, like, and then I start thinking again, and then I decide to when I want to go to sell my product, I want to this design final design to share to customer. Thank you. And yeah, this is one of our process after we collect coffee at coffee shop, and we dry it, and then we mix it up with coffee grounds and milk protein. We put on weight scale, and we put on malt block, and then we press it on hot pressure machine for about 15 minutes, and we pull it out and take it out, the material, the block, and that's already for the next step. Put on CNC machine, like for setting and for rotary, become the design what we want, like. And then yeah, that's it. Okay, this is the product by the user, but yeah, as I said before, I'm looking for some kind of people you want to join with me, like Catherine, maybe you want to join, want to help me to communicate my product really good, because yeah, I just not quite good at communication, like stories and etc. And then yeah, that's it. And the last but not least, developing product to be more valuable. From the various research we have done on this coffee bone material, there are many other product development that can be created so as to produce a product that has a selling value in the market. And this is, in this case, is a watch. We believe that resulting product has environmental and economic benefits, so that is the future. It can help the environment and communities economy by creating new job opportunity. And thank you, that's it for me. If you want to ask me something, yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, Phoebe. I really like your product. Could you please to show it just a little bit in the camera, because it's amazing to have one right now on the stream. And yes, it's very interesting. It's of different colors, and Phoebe is also a designer, a product designer, and that's very interesting, because he not only could create a technical part, which was very hard, because Phoebe invented a unique material of coffee grounds, and it was super interesting. If you have a chance, please, maybe you have a chance, maybe you have not, just tell us, please, could you bring a sample of your material? It's super interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Really.
Yeah, this is my sample material. And after, yeah, like this, after we press it and pull it down, this is really strong material, and it's a little bit flexible when when it's thin, thick, when you're thick. And this is really what should I say?
Yeah, like strong,
flexible,
like yeah, like
flexible
and strong at the same time. That's very interesting. It looks like plastic. Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like plastic and at the same time leather, and but in general, that's an essential natural material. Yeah, it's very interesting. And yeah, and we also yes, let's listen some questions if you, dear guests, will have, and if not, we'll be happy to get acquainted with our guests just a little bit, because it's very important when our speakers have talks, and we will hear it with pleasure. But very often we don't listen, we don't know we don't figure out some information about our guests. But right now we will fix this tradition and change it. Yeah, and yeah, go ahead, please. If you have any questions, you're welcome. And then let's get acquainted with you. Thank you, Lida. Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you very much. And Mark, we are happy to talk to you before we finish our session with a nice cartoon about how can we all increase our future.
Hi, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sorry I was late to the session, but it's was getting late here, and I have kids, and I wanted to jump on and see what this was about. I'm a brand designer. I create logos and brand identities in the sustainable world. And I just want to be a part of this whole community.
Cool. Thank you very much. Wow. The design is a very important visual component of the presentation. As Katrina already said to us, yes, we have work a lot to explain to our consumers how can we improve our world with our goods. So, and let's see a very nice animation. Let's take a look. The very nice animation of the Cartoon Network. It's a very well-known source of animation, and let's just figure out what they think about it. Do you hear? As Sarah already said today, together we're stronger. And thank you very much for being here today. It was an amazing, warm, very emotional and productive session. And the next step we will do is to match connections. I will share, thank you very much, Mark. Thank you for your feedback. And I will share contacts with you. so we can collaborate in the future. My credo, my phrase I've said yesterday, and I will say today, it's just a beginning. It's just the beginning, guys. So thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please, you're welcome. If we don't have a beautiful day and have a nice week.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Katrina.